Last week, Donald Trump made news when he nominated a a federal district judge in Alabama who doesn't have much experience. His name is Talley. He has been working as a lawyer for about 3 years, has never actually tried a specific case. So he's incredibly unqualified for this position. Practiced law for 3 years, was approved by the Senate Judiciary Committee despite never having tried a case. Well,
to be fair, Anna, he was a blogger. He was a blogger.
Okay, so he's totally qualified to be a federal judge.
By the way, I've also been a blogger. And I was a lawyer for 9 months in total.
How did you never get nominated for the Supreme Court? That's crazy.
And actually, if you include my internships at the prosecutor's office, it's almost a year that I was a lawyer, and I would actually go inside a courtroom. I'm more qualified to be a federal judge than this guy.
It's insane. Okay. Well, the big update to this story is that he failed to disclose the fact that there's a gigantic conflict of interest here because of who he's married to. It turns out that his wife is a White House lawyer. In fact, she is the chief of staff to the White House counsel. Okay, so let's tell you who she is. Her name is Ann Donaldson. Again, this is something that he was supposed to disclose and he failed to do so. And so I don't know what's gonna happen now, but you should also know that he was deemed unqualified by the American Bar Association. And what stands out to me is that whenever we have conversations about people getting special treatment when they don't earn things, it's always in the context of affirmative action, right? But when it comes to stuff like this, whatever, he didn't earn it, but he's a white dude, so who cares?
Yeah, well, it's deeper than that. So let me tell you a couple more things about him. So he worked for Luther Strange, and Luther Strange was briefly the senator from Alabama when Jeff Sessions stepped down, until Roy Moore defeated Strange in the primary. So presumably Luther Strange will be out of the Senate soon. But anyway, those senators are very powerful in helping picking these federal judges. And so that's one thing, but that happens all the time, to be fair, okay? And Democrats do it too. Hey, I like this guy, I'm gonna appoint him, right? And then number two, now getting far more relevant, Talley himself worked at the part of the Justice Department that helped pick judicial appointments. He's like, ooh, I got a great idea. Okay, me, just appoint me. He pulled a Cheney, appointed himself, right? But we knew all that stuff. The reason why this is a news story is because he did not disclose that his wife is chief of staff to the White House counsel, which could be really relevant in picking federal judges.
Right.
And why did you hide that? I mean, that's clearly not something like, oh, she was working at the DMV, I didn't think to fill that out. I mean, no, that's super relevant to the proceedings here.
Yeah, I think it's at this point standard operating procedure in the Trump administration or the Trump era. You just don't disclose your conflicts of interest. Who cares? Who cares about conflicts of interest? Our president is just a walking, talking conflict of interest. So why would this guy worry about, telling anyone or disclosing who his wife is?
Yeah, he thought, well, there's new rules. The Trump rules are you could just cheat. And so I'm going to cheat and leave that off. Jared Kushner left off unbelievable things. Wilbur Ross left off unbelievable. Wilbur Ross, the Secretary of Commerce, left off $2 billion that he hid somewhere. And then later when he was asked about it at Forbes magazine, hey, you dropped $2 billion in wealth. What happened to the $2 billion? He's like, well, I just transferred it to other people. I'm not gonna tell you who, but it's okay. It's not a conflict of interest, so that's why I didn't record it. They're like, so you're actually now only have 770 million? He's like, no, I don't want anybody to think that I don't have that money. Why? Because he wants to be higher on the Forbes list. Oh, they're unbelievable. So where's the goddamn money? So they're all doing it. It's the swamp at large. But one more thing, particularly about this guy, Trump has appointed 59 people to the court. The Republicans who blocked 100 nominees under the last 2 years of Obama. They're approving every single one of them, right? But only 4 out of the 59, to be fair, were ranked unqualified, okay? So 55 were not, they were ranked qualified by the American Bar Association, right? This guy was declared unanimously unqualified. Like not a single person thought he was qualified for the office. And the Republicans are like, party line vote, yep, totally approved, lovely, let's move forward. a right-wing blogger who thought, by the way, in his blog, someone said that we should pick up arms against the government if we don't agree with them, okay? Meaning to a violent assault on government officials. And he said he agrees. And now that guy's gonna be a federal judge. If you like this video, you'll love the whole TYT network. Check it out at tytnetwork.com/join.